Oh, hello. Um, Bit of a ramble. It's 8:43 p.m., but it's actually 7:43 p.m. with daylight saving. It's hot, humid. Can't eat, can't sleep. So time for a ramble. Ramble on. Now, this has got nothing to do with the rest of the video, but I had the single, first single in the world released by Led Zeppelin, which was off the first album. I bought the single, and it was Communication Breakdown. What a great single that was! Wow. And so it's got nothing to do with anything really. Bottoms up. I don't have many photographs. If you go through my family's photograph albums, the only pictures of me is when I was a kid, and not many others. So I don't know what that tells you. It tells me that we're all alone in the world, baby. Yeah, so a breeze. We're getting a bit of a breeze. Oh God, Jesus. I know people in the northern hemisphere would be saying, "Shut up, Fluffy." Would be saying, "Oh, we would kill for the heat and the humidity, but I would kill for -40 right now." Okay. Now, because there are very few photos of me and the family photograph albums, my 45s mean a lot to me. They mean everything to me because they're like my photographs of my life, from my first 45s, Buddy Holly, Elvis, so on and so forth. This one will get a little bit rude later in the video, because the record I'm about to show is quite funny. You know, I'm on a different planet to most people. I always remember when John Lennon sang, "No one else is in my tree." I knew exactly what he meant. I'm not saying I'm like John Lennon. God help us, I wouldn't want to be. But I knew exactly what he meant by that. And so this is about my first trip away. Not my first trip away. I went down to Melbourne in early '65 with the Boy Scouts for the Jamboree, the Australian National Scout Jamboree. And I saw Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs at the Maya Music Bowl. God, it was great. Holy crap, it was so good. Oh, yeah, anyway. My first trip away was to go up to the Gold Coast in Queensland with my friend Jeff, who unfortunately for him got called up in the Vietnam War, but luckily for him ended up in a typing pool in Melbourne. I think I'd rather be fighting the VC in Hanoi, frankly. So we went up there, and I read that book by the guy out of the church, and he was in up in the Gold Coast at exactly the same time me and Jeff were, 1970, and it was a different place then. There was no high rise. It was a Wild West sort of a place, and we stayed at a notorious place called Paradise Village. It was run by this hardcore old alcoholic woman, and it was so funky, man. And first we stayed at Noosa, which is virtually on the border of northern New South Wales and Queensland, and that now is a hellhole. High rises everywhere. We were on the edge of a cyclone, and it was just there was nothing in Noosa then. There was a pub on the hill, beautiful old hotel, and the town was just a fish and chip shop, a camping ground, and not much else. And we're on the tail end of a cyclone, um, and the windscreen wipers broke down, so we were stuck in Noosa for 3 or 4 days, just running across the road to the fish and chip shop to get our meals, and I couldn't eat hamburgers or fish and chips for years after that. But anyway, to speed that up a bit, then we were so bored we drove all the way to a drive-in up there, and it was because it was belting down rain. We had no windscreen wipers. We pulled in, and there was no one there. And we said, "Could you run the movie?" And they were just so happy to someone show up. So I think it was called the Wild. Oh, not the Wild Bunch, but it was a famous bikie movie from the late '60s, and we sat there watching it through the belting rain on the windscreen, and it was just one of those weird memories, you know. So eventually we got back down after the. Oh, that's right. And then we saw that a guy came across from South America on a raft to try to replicate Thor Heyerdahl's raft journeys across the Pacific, and he made it. He made it through the cyclone, and he arrived in Caloundra Beach, and we were there. I filmed. I've got it on film, on Super 8 film, where he actually came in. Oh, this guy somehow he survived a cyclone off Australia and actually made it. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. So that was worth it for that. Moving on, we moved down to Paradise Village, and yeah, it was. Oh, that's what it's all about. This is the single of the day. This was a huge hit in Oz and everywhere else, I would imagine. This is an awesome, unbelievably great. Um, I got 2 copies. This one's got a bit of a scratch on it, but I see you, you fucking cunt. Shut up, you little fuck. Band of Gold, FREDA PAYNE. And the song's about they get married, and on our honeymoon, we slept in separate rooms. Oh Christ, it's got a fucking cancer on its side. I'm not going to touch that. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, get away. Um, this stray cat that's moved in. It's on its last legs, and it's got this massive. I've only just noticed it, this huge cancer growing on its side. We slept in separate rooms. Since you've been gone, all that's left is a band of gold. Now, cutting to the chase, that was a huge hit, and at the time, it was on the radio all the time. And this pommy bird, I don't know, Jeff somehow met her in the Paradise Village, and it's a joke. It's like 8 rundown motel rooms, the worst part of the Gold Coast, and he invited her in, and she came in, and get away, you little cunt. Now, she came in, and she started telling us about she'd had sex with some bloke, and she said, "Oh, it was awful. We were having sex, and he, as he was thrusting, he kept farting under the blankets." And I went, "Oh, God." And then Jeff said, "I can smell fish." And then I could smell it too. This female had that terrible, fish and finger pie stench coming out of her front bottom. Just think of the farts and the smell of her front bottom under those sheets. Good night.